like a little nervous. I don't know why. Maybe because it's late. It's almost 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm deciding to do this. This is long overdue. I've done this every year since 2014. It is March 19th. I usually do these January 1st or December 31st. I do these come change of the year. I just feel nervous. This is weird. I gotta relax. There's a lot. Tonight was just one of the nights where I talked to people, and I said, you know what? I gotta do this. Friends, family, colleagues, steamed vegetables. Welcome to my 2016 year in review. To fill you in, if you don't know what this is, like I said, I do it every year. I just like to, I guess, document what happened in my past year, how everything went. That's Skype. I forced quit you so you would not bother me, and you bothered me. You bothered me. You've done it. It's always weird to start these. So January 1st of 2016. At the time, I was going through some bad anxiety. Seems to be the trend towards January, December, February. It's anxiety, because winter, depression, and stuff. Hold on, can I maximize my comfort so I can excuse me. Okay, it's a little better. Move this, move that. Okay. So, January 1st of 2016 went by as a normal day. I am living where I am now, or at least I was living at 2016, the beginning of it. I'm living where I am now, which is at my dad's house. I didn't have a bedroom at the time. I was on a cot or a futon thing that was between the staircase and my brother's room. My brother has a lot of company, so constantly in and out throughout the day, throughout the night, there would be people walking between my bed over here and my stream setup, which was over here. So sleep being interrupted, sleep being hard to get because people were just disturbing and hard to stream. I didn't like streaming. I didn't like streaming at that time. I did, of course, but I didn't have privacy. And it was a bother. I didn't like it. So, January 1st, I went to the hospital. I went to the hospital because I kept having chest pressure and pain and discomfort. And after going on for so long, I just, due to anxiety, of course, figured I have to go to the hospital because, nothing's helping. And I've anxiety, heart problems. So I went to the hospital. I took a nap. I woke up, and I just was I couldn't breathe, and I just felt bad. And shitty. I called Tim, and I was like, yo, can you take me to the hospital? I was scared. I just didn't feel okay. So he took me, and we were there for a couple hours. That was fine. They did I don't even remember what they did. I think they did a sonogram there. No problems though. Other than stomach issues, they labeled it as could have been gastritis. So they prescribed something to me. And, okay. So nothing's wrong. That kind of helped my anxiety, just to know that I'm not dying. This point in January, I was doing nothing, which just made me feel like crap. I wasn't working. I couldn't enjoy streaming as much as I could. I was sleeping. My sleep was shit because the bed I was sleeping on was awful. The quality of it was bad, and I just felt like a nobody. So I just felt like crap. After that hospital visit, I was given a prescription, and one of the days I went to go pick it up from a pharmacy. Lo and behold, in that pharmacy, I dropped off the prescription. I came back like a half hour later. My ex-girlfriend, who I dated for 4 years in high school, she was the one who filled the prescription, and I was a little taken back by it. I was like, because we didn't really end on a good term. I was like, should I like say her name? Let's call her Tori. Whether that be her actual name or not, that's up for you guys to decide. So we and I were her and I were talking, and I was like, we didn't really end on good terms, like, and that was the last time we had spoken at this point was like maybe 2 years prior, so we haven't spoken in a long time since this. And it was like, if there's like no bad blood between us, and she was like, no, but everything's okay. I was like, all right, cool. She was like, if you want to hang out, you can, if you still have my number. And of course, I still remembered her number because it was super easy to remember. So sure enough, I texted her. We talked for a while. We just talked about a lot of things. We hung out a few times. And that was nice to actually have like someone to confide in, to have the security, to actually have someone to talk to, because I couldn't really, everything that was going on mentally in my mind, I couldn't talk to with my brother and my dad for some reason. And her being someone I dated for a long time, it was just very easy to, here's me. So we talked for a while, we hang out a few times, and I eventually find out that she's dating somebody that when we were together, I was always not afraid, like, oh, he's going to beat me up. But I was uncomfortable with him around her because they were always super close. And for years, 3 of the 4 years we were together, I was like, hey, I don't feel comfortable around this guy when you guys are together. Oh, don't worry about him. He's just a really good friend. Well, when we were together, she cheated on me with him. Bygones be bygones. We got past that. I'm sure there have been other times where she cheated on me that I don't know about, but it's in the past. Well, I found out that they were dating, and I was like, huh, the guy you told me not to worry about, you're now dating him. Whatever. And he was always like a big baby whenever she and I were to hang out, because, oh, I'm uncomfortable around him because you guys used to date. Motherfucker, listen. You went behind my back a shit ton of times to see my now ex. Man up, alright? Quit being a little baby. So, I don't remember how it kind of went down, but I was like, do you want to hang out? I had no intentions of this. I just wanted, because I realized she was boring and not what I needed in my life, and she was shitty to me. So I was like, why would I want that back? It's like, this is not a pseudo relationship maybe that I could pursue. I'm not trying to break your relationship up. You guys are happy. I'm not going to end that. But I don't even want a friendship with you because you were shitty to me, and I never got like an apology. It was just all ill will towards me still. So I can end our now current conversations. I was like, this of course what I did was a jerk thing, but I had no intentions of being like, let's like get together, wink. I was like, hey, do you want to come over and have a couple drinks? See where that goes, something like that, where it essentially. But she said this one time we hung out, where she was like, I'm still like the old me. Like if we like made out one time, like I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. And I was like, so you're telling me that you would cheat on your now boyfriend? Definitely not somebody I need in my life. So I was like, we should like just have a few drinks, see where that goes, She was like, I have a boyfriend, and like at that point I just blocked her number because I was like, hey, it could have happened, but I didn't want it to happen, and I know it's not gonna happen. So now I have no need to have any ties to you because you were just awful. The person I dated for 4 years. So around this time, it must have been middle of January, February. I had gone into GameStop to get something. I don't even know what, dude. But prior to this, I mentioned this, and those who've stuck around the entire year of 2016, this is where, prior in 2015, I asked a girl out from GameStop. Her name was Mina. We went on a date. It didn't go that well. She had no intentions of dating anybody. I went back in there, a couple months later, saw her again, and she was like, oh, hey, she was nice. I still had her number, but we hadn't really talked in between that span. So I'm still down on my luck. No job, no nothing. I mean, I'm working insulating with my dad, which it's great money. It's a lot of work. It's great money, but not me. So I guess you could say I meet Mina for the second time, where I texted her because when we first started talking in 2015, and like around November, December, I came off as very strong, meaning like, hey, like, do you want to go out, like, after when you get out of work for like a dinner at the diner or something, or like, hey, do you want to like chit chat? And she wasn't too talkative, and I just not bombarded with texts, but like, every other day I was like, dinner, something, because she gave me her number, that must have meant she was interested in me. Try to pursue that. So we had a brief conversation at the GameStop, and she was very nice. So when I got home, I texted her and I was like, listen, I came off as strong when we first started talking. I'm sorry about that. I was just like overexcited. And she was like, no, it's okay. I wasn't the best either. And then we had a conversation. And then from there, it kind of like very tiny like snowballed into us talking more and more and more. I think like maybe a week or two into us talking, maybe a month. I don't remember exactly how long. Let's say it's into February, March, where I should have given myself more water. February, March, where I ask her, hey, do you want to go out to this ramen shop that I found out about? Because maybe a couple weeks before that, I was in the town where this ramen shop is at. Just opened up. I ate there for lunch once, and I was like, this food's amazing. And then for like the next 2 weeks, within like a 10-day span, I ate there like 6 or 7 times because their food was amazing. So I was telling all my friends about it, and I told Mina, I was like, there's this ramen shop. It's awesome. Let's go there. And she said yes. So we went out, we met up there, and we must have been in that place for an hour and a half just talking and laughing and having a good time. I think like we even left there and we ended up walking up and down the town. I think that night as well, I don't think I asked her to come home and stream with me. That happened another time. But we were just talking and talking. Um, this was around the time where I was streaming Neko Para Volume 2. And I texted her. Alright, she wasn't around. I texted her and I was like, hey, I'm streaming. Because she was doing YouTube at the time, and I told her about Twitch. I told her about streaming. She was like, I'll have to look into that. She came on the stream. And she watched me do Neko Par, and she was like, wow, streaming's actually entertaining. I gotta get on this. So I then like had all the impulses to help her and give her everything she needed to stream this, that. I was like, whatever you need, I'll help you with it. So between her and I talking is around the same time. I tried talking to my ex Tori. Didn't work. Of course I go on Tinder to try to like meet people, because like I didn't really feel like going out that much, you know. So I go on Tinder. Swipe, fucking Tinder, whatever. I get matched with a girl. She's very forward, very nice. We end up being like hookup buddies, you know. We ended up being hookup buddies, and she had no intention of dating. I wasn't super into her. She was just like someone to hang out with some nights, and like just no intention to dating. Like nothing more than that. God, she was so obnoxious to have sleep in my bed. Let me say that right now. No disrespect to her. You're a wonderful, wonderful person, Kelly. You got a heart of gold. You really do. But my God, you take up all of my bed. Of course, we were together a couple times, and I just realized like that's not what I'm looking for. It's not what I want. So whatever. We were still like together here and there, very rarely. And then upon this, Mina and I were still talking. Around this time, this is March, I get a job from my relative at his restaurant because he knew I was in culinary school. I've done culinary jobs before, so I get a job at his establishment as a chef. And from that point on, like, anxiety, depression, and stuff, like, it was all gone. Because I started working again. And I felt great. I was doing long days, and it was weird because it was a new environment. Excuse me. It was just so different. But the feeling that I had of that I'm working again, and I have something that I could be proud of and be like, hi, I'm so-and-so, I do this. It was really nice. Accomplishment. I had accomplishment. It's not like I was doing, not to say like, oh, I should feel like shit because I work a minimum wage job at McDonald's. I was making good money at like it could be a 5-star restaurant. It's a steakhouse, so I'll say a 4-star restaurant. A good place with a good reputation. So I had something to be proud of. It was great. So I was doing that. Started working there. Meeting those coworkers. Great. So I do that for the month of March. I don't really work with my dad that much anymore. And this is where I started like streaming a little more. Oh, by February though, to back up a few months, at this point in February, I actually finally got my bedroom made at my dad's house, which was great. Because I now, at that point, had my own personal space to sleep, put all my stuff, stream without interruption. I fucking love this bedroom. It's great. So that was a really awesome thing that happened January, February. Now we'll go forward again to March, where I'm just working. March, April, May. Shit, I was just like work. Around April, though, I went out and I bought a bike for myself. And around April, May, I started like working out like a ton. I went fucking like hardcore with working out. I think I went on like a 2-3 week kick where I would wake up early, I would have like a certain breakfast, I'd go right to the gym, I'd eat this throughout the day, I'd watch what and I got pretty fucking in shape, dude. And like I was never out of shape, I was never obese, I was never fat, I was never lazy, I'm always active. But I got some pretty good tone. So it's pretty good. Around this time in April, though, I shifted from the steakhouse I was working at to a private yacht club. Where at this private yacht club, I had a different staff that I was working with. A1 Mario, Antonio, and Max. Probably some of the greatest guys I've ever worked with. They're so swell. At this yacht club, I did a lot of hours there. You know, it was fun. The kitchen was big. It was nice, and I learned the menu pretty quickly. So it was like a second home. And of course, I got a lot of homes. I got a lot of friends' houses. I got my house, my mom's house. You know, but you know what I'm saying, where I was just comfortable there. It was really nice. So I had a lot of liberties in that kitchen at the yacht club. So I made food for myself a lot. You know, of course it was within reason, where my boss was okay with it. Hey, can I make a burger? Made a burger for myself. While in the midst of all this, I still heavily was infatuated with Mina. I would light up like a Christmas tree whenever she texted me or whenever we talked, and we would kind of go out sometimes for ramen. I was just wildly attracted to her, and she was super easy to talk to, and we just got along. There were times where we hung out here on my stream and we played like Had a Full Boyfriend and whatnot. I can't, I'm sure I could look it up, find out when I uploaded that. But we streamed, the first stream we did together was Had a Full Boyfriend, and I went in like, it was like a 2 hour stream maybe. And I pulled out like all these, just to impress her and get her to like me. I pulled out a bunch of like little snippets of this 2 hour stream, put it in a video, edited it, rendered it, and sent it to her so she could upload it on her YouTube channel. So did her a nice little, not even a favor. I just wanted to do it for her because I liked her. Heavily had an infatuation with her. And I remember telling her that one time where it was like, I don't even remember how I worded it, but I was like, hey, short end of it, I like you. And she was like, I'm not looking to date, but thank you. We can still like be cool though. And like I was a little hurt. I was like 5% hurt, but 95% like, I feel good that I said that and now it's known to you, even though apparently it was obvious. So a lot of the times when we would hang out, I would make food for her at my job and I'd bring it to her while she is working, or she would come by after her work and have it here and we'd stream together. We had a nice like rhythm of just hanging out. And from me going from having, not saying nothing, I'm very fortunate, and I never forget that, but just where I was mentally, physically, spatially, I was in the like, that is, honestly, if I think back to the end of 2015, beginning of 2016, that is the lowest I feel like I've ever been in my entire life. Just miserable, not doing anything, and just like good for nothing. And then to where I was at that point, like I was doing great. So it was awesome. But as Mina and I would hang out, she, constantly, like, I'd still not court her, but hey, like, I like you and I do things for you because I like you, but I never expected anything in return, of course, not at all. Um, when I, like, if I had issues, I would talk to her about them. If she had issues, she would talk to me. It was nice. Um, so let's say April, May, going into those 2 months. Um, I'm on this workout kick. I'm like every moment I have free time during my day, if I'm not working, I'd go on bike rides. And I just have a great time. Um, I went to the beach one day and I saw a girl just like sitting there. And I was like, hey, go talk to that girl. And I was like, no, I'm too shy and nervous. Eventually, I like talked myself into it and I sat next to this girl. And we were talking for a while. We watched the sunset together. I got her number. It was Jessica. Jessica was very nice. Um, so here I am, like knowing that Tori and I are never. Or Tori, it's my ex. Mina and I are never going to be together because she's not interested, and she has said it. So I say to myself, why not like pursue anything serious, but just be out there. Uh, so this girl Jessica and I are talking, and she is one of the nicest people I've ever met. She's so nice. Um, so we talked for a while, and I actually find out that she's a teacher, and she wasn't even in New York for much longer. She was in New York for like another 2-3 weeks before she moved to China to be a teacher. So like I could had a life with her. I mean, shit, man. If we'd spent every day together, and we only talked, but regardless, it was something I was like, this could be a thing. No. Um. Anyway, not to say it fell through, but then she moved to China. I gave her my email. I often wonder sometimes. I'm like, I wonder if she ever sent me an email and I just missed it. I doubt it, but she was just nice. We had gone out a few times, gone like downport just to share a nice night together. Um, I'm not trying to say this like, oh, I'm a player. I'm trying to think like, I feel like I had at least a fling with like, well, there was my ex, there was the one girl of Tinder, there was Jessica. I feel like there was another, but I can't even remember, dude, because 2016 is so heavily centered around Mina and my job. Um, so let's say around April, I don't know, maybe more like May. Um, I believe Mina started streaming at this time, and I was streaming. I remember. Oh, real quick, thank you, Lee. I'm sorry. You know what? I wanted to change it to gaming talk. We're take a quick little hiatus. Hey everybody, Cyrix Lee Colo. Sorry, thank you, IRL. Thank you for doing that for me. Yeah, we're just talking right now. I'm I'm watching chat. I'm just not responding. I'm sorry. This is just something that I'll get into after we recap 2016 as to why I felt compelled to do this. Back to it. Um, so around this time, Mina started streaming, and I remember I was streaming Mass Effect, and she texted me, or we were talking, I don't know, and she was like, "Oh, I'm about to stream too," and I was like, "Whoa, without me?" Like sarcastically, like not to be a dick or anything, but just like, "Oh yeah, really?" So she actually invited me over, and you know, that was like the first time I went to her house, and it was like so different. I was like, whoa, whoa. So we streamed at her place, and it was really cool. It was fun. Uh, around this time as well, uh, I had met some more streamers. Thinking of the stream, around this time we met Ryby, and I think as well as Aloe Broccoli. Who else did we meet? We met a lot of great streamers this year. I know I met a lot of like smaller guys that I chill out with here and there. This is around the time where Lee, you got your computer. When did you get it? It was recently. I want to say August, September, wasn't it? Anyway, so as Mina and I talk practically every day, and I'm just very cordial with her, as I am with anybody. Um, she wanted to go to a gym, and I felt compelled to be like, I'll join the gym with you guys because you want help working out. I work out. There'll be a chance for me to show off. A few weeks after Halloween, thought so. um, so they started a gym membership together, and this was her and her friend. And I joined with them because I was like, I'll help them out. I'll show them what's good and work out with them. And it'd be more time for me to hang out with her. You know, we do the gym and then we go to like Denny's to get like breakfast at like 11, 12 o'clock at night. And then we would maybe go back to her house to stream together. We had a fun like little system going. So that's kind of what my life was for, I want to say like a month or two almost, where like May, June, and I guess some of July was just me working, me bringing her food, us like going to the gym, hanging out at her house, streaming. Like what other exciting like pinnacle things happened? And I was work, dude. I did like 6-day weeks. I did a lot of thinking this over, and I always recap 20 or at least prior events, even tonight. Where it was like, what happened to 2016? I was like, I feel like the beginning of summer was just not a lot of anything exciting. We streamed a lot. I don't even think we streamed anything fun and exciting. uh, so let's go to July, where things between Mina and I started to like pick up a little more. Where there were definitely like there were two separate nights where maybe even like a few more I can't think of now where we were like hanging out. There have been times where before we were dating, spoilers, we ended up dating. uh where I'd spend the night at her house and I'd sleep on her couch because one, I was tired, we streamed all night, and two, like I honestly like really wanted to be there because like it was comforting because she was such an easy person to be around for me that I felt happy being around her. So like sleeping in her house was like awesome. Her cats were fucking annoying though, but cats naturally are. So there was definitely a few nights where she had invited me to like parties, and there was definitely tension. There's a stream that we don't talk about where her and I streamed Fallout New Vegas together, and we got suitably drunk or intoxicated or inebriated, however you want to word it. Um, and we had talked about it like afterwards, and she was like, "That totally would have been a night where like I would have been with you," and I was like, "What, really?" Um, we had a falling out at one point because like I don't know. Maybe I said I liked her like in a weird way, and she was like, you know what? I'm not fond of that, and she got like mad at me, and I was like, oh no, I'm sad. So anyway, these 2 nights there was definitely like tension, and like there was one night where I thought that she was like, where I thought like she might kiss me tonight. It was like that kind of like just chemistry together, I guess. Not like we were buddy buddy the whole night, but it was just like the way you look at somebody, you know, the way you just are around them. And then definitely another night where like I said it in my mind, I was like, you should totally like smooch her tonight, and ended up not happening because like as I was leaving the party and she joined me like outside, because I was like perfect setup for like that night kiss. Some of our friends were hanging out front of the house, and then we ended up talking and derailed the whole thing. But everything happens for a reason. Oh God. So let's say it's now August. August, same as the past couple months, where I'm working a lot, just doing a lot of stuff. Bike rides and working out and streaming. It's kind of like all I can remember doing the past summer, and it was a great summer. uh, oh, motherfucking, I didn't want to forget about it. Speaking of streaming, because we're doing it, we had a donation goal for like a couple $100, and I'll thank everyone again now. I already did, and I still love it. We had our big donation goal of 2016, which was a Nintendo 3DS with capture card, and thanks to everyone that donated, we managed to get it. And this was like over a couple months span. We were trying to raise money for it, and we got it. So like that was a big thing. This thing made me really happy. This thing is still awesome. We played a shit fuck ton of Monster Hunter, and it was awesome. So thank you everyone that donated and helped us get this. This was a huge thing that happened in 2016. I almost forgot about that. And I remember driving home earlier this evening. I was like, "Yo, bring up the 3DS because that was a huge thing that happened." So I think we got that around May, actually, because that's when I think that's when Monster Hunter came out. Anyway, it's August. Tim and I, my friend Tim, we had plans to go to Liberty City Anime Convention. Right? Yes, Liberty City, that's what it's called. In New York City. Because we went to the one last year. That was like the 20th of August. So about 3 nights prior to me going to this convention, I think Mina, her friend, and I went to the gym. We went back to her house to stream, maybe. I think we ended up not streaming. And her friend left. And then it was just her and I in her house. And I don't even know what we were talking about. But the past few days prior to this night, I was like very flirtatious with her because I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm into her. And she said, no, I'll be a little flirtatious. What's the worst that can happen? With no intentions of anything happening. I was just kind of being myself. Like, that's what I do sometimes, you know? And I wasn't like, oh, this is totally going to get her with me, you know, or this is going to happen. It was just me, like, just having fun, you know? And I remember the conversation we had before this night that I'm talking about, where I like asked her out, and she was like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, well, you're not saying no to me taking you on a date. And she was always heavy on like, well, that's not a date. And she was like totally saying, kind of totally saying, yes, date. So I was like, she's not saying no to the date. So this is just an open book. Like, I'm no way trying to boast myself. So I don't mean to sound, I don't even know the word I'm thinking of or looking for. This is just how I am. So totally just had a brain fart. I'm trying to think of this word. So modest, I don't know. I would never make a move on like anybody. I'm very respectable of people's space, and Mina had said that's what she liked about me. Liked, I guess. Is that I was always respectable of her space and whatever she needed. She got fired from her dream job, and like she was in shambles, and like I was there for her for that entire thing. Because like she was a friend, and I cared about her well-being, so of course I was there for her. Anyway, so this one night, it was just her and I in her apartment, and I don't even know what we were talking about, but I remember this night so clearly. She was like sitting on the floor, and I was sitting on her couch, and she like stopped talking. She like put her head down. I can't even remember what we were talking about, and she was like, fuck it, got up, and then like came over and kissed me, and like we made out. Solid, like what felt like an eternity of kissing, which could have been a minute. And I was like in shock. I was like I've liked this girl since like February. It's now August. February, March, April, May, June, July, August. 6 to 7 months of liking this girl. I've never liked someone for that long and never like been with them, you know? Like, not to say I've never had a crush on someone for that long and then either had someone else show up or like we started dating or they just said no entirely and they like skipped town, you know? Flip my whole gosh darn world upside down, you know? I was like, oh my god, like I was screaming in my head. I was going nuts. I was going bonkers. Because I was just so heavily infatuated with her for so long. And to be like, this is happening. That night we had spent the night together in the same bed. We were up until like 5 in the morning just talking, and it was like the happiest I've been in a long time. And then for the next few days we were inseparable until I went to Liberty City Anime Convention with Tim. That stuff was really fun. Mina and I called each other like every night just to talk. But at the convention, dude, my friend Tim and I, we were at panels. We were on the shop floor. We went walking around the city. I had curry for the first time. Dude, that convention was boss. It was really cool. Which Gundam was it? I don't even know if I built it yet. But I bought a Gundam there when I was at the convention. I think, oh, you know what? My Monster Hunter figures of it. I bought a bunch of like neat little knickknacks there. It was fun, dude. And when I came back, Mina and I weren't dating. We had just hooked up, I guess. And of course I wanted to be with her because I was fucking crazy about her. Anything she needed, anything she wanted, I would do it. I would be there for her because I wanted to. And certainly, I guess most of the time she did that for me. But anyway, a couple days after I came back, we were sharing like breakfast. We went out for breakfast, and she was like, "I think we should make it official as you to be us boyfriend girlfriend." And I was so elated. I was like, "No way." Um, you know what? Fuck this guy. So her mutual friend, Clyde. I'll protect his identity. Clyde had a thing for Mina, but she didn't have a thing for him. He was like beating around the bush, like, or she even asked him one day, like, "Do you have a thing for me?" And he was like, "No." She a couple of times talked to Clyde about her and I, and he was like, "Oh, you shouldn't date him, this and that." So he tried to like break us up before we were together, so she and him could be together. Didn't work out because she didn't like you, bro. So when we started dating, of course there was like bad blood from him, but not, he wasn't a dick about it. Okay? He was very respectable, but just kind of fucked up how you're letting your emotions get in the way of trying to advise other people. And like it's like toying with me too. Regardless, we eventually settled our waters. It's not like we fucking hated each other. I mean, I heard that news and I was like, that's a little messed up. But I guess I understand why you did it. I'm not too happy, but anyway, settled our issues. Things were, of course, weird. Things were always weird between him and I. So she and I started dating. Everything was great. You know, September rolls through, happy as can be, just being together. You know, never argued. You know, just great. October, her birthday. November, my birthday. My mother ended up selling her house. This is the house that I grew up in when I was a fucking infant until about 22. I stopped living in this house. So 22 years of my life I've lived in this house, and we finally sold it. So that was a big thing that happened this year. It was really weird. Also, my mother's boyfriend, who she's known for years, asked her to marry him. We're okay with this guy. This is still in the works, them getting married and stuff. We were always okay with this guy, but he lied to my mother in saying that he asked permission from me, my brother, and my sister that he can ask our mom before actually asking her. And he didn't talk to us about that. And he said to my mother that he did talk to us, but he did not. We were always fine with this guy. This guy is great. He's super nice. He's very soft-spoken. He's a kind soul. But we did not like how he lied to us about that, and we don't know what his motives are for this marriage. So that's still like it's not water under the bridge yet. It's still in a little heat of the moment kind of thing. Anyway. So let's go to end of November, December, which is very recent. It's like 4 months ago. It's not that recent. When I'm in a relationship, I realize I could be like clingy, I guess. Not in the sense of, hey, what are you doing? Where are you? Blah, blah, blah. Not that. More so, let me make sure you're okay. Can I get you anything? How are you? Stuff like that. Hey, I'm free, you're free. You want to hang out? Could it be misconstrued as clingy? I don't know. I guess. Apparently. But I'm very open with my emotions towards people. I love you. I hate you. Die in a fire. I hope you're okay. um, of course, I was the first one to say that to Mina, is that I love you. And she just didn't handle it well because she was like, I'm not ready and I don't know. So she was always not 100% about our relationship. So that kind of fucked with my mind because even though this is a 2016 recap, it's kind of bleeding into 2017 because this is when I'm doing it. Here's something that I realized. Well, I'll get into it later. So, I never really heard from her that much, and that hurts when you're in a relationship with someone you love. That you just don't hear from them how they feel. Like, the one thing that bugged me is that, okay, good night, I love you, and I would just get, love you too. That seems like such the shittiest, like, that's, all I can picture is just, fuck it, you know? Like, what does that say to me? Like, you're not putting in the effort to show emotion. So, come December, I started going through some pretty turbulent anxiety. Could have been the change of season. Let me go to where I am now, though. Oh shit, you know what? I skipped out on a big thing. A big thing that happened as well. I forgot about this because I haven't really seen her in so long. Before I get into this analysis of myself, my dad's girlfriend, who used to live in this house, we got her. I feel like because I moved in, she got kicked out from my dad, even though my dad wanted to get rid of her for so long. She was just a nasty person. She was always really rude. She was, out of 7 days of the week, maybe one day she was nice. And even for that one day, she wasn't nice the entire day. She was just very rude and very hard to be around. Where, like, I confide myself to my room in the basement because I never wanted to go up there because that's where she was. And she always had something nasty to say or something to complain about. I do remember the day when my dad was telling her, you gotta move out. That was really funny. Sorry on your behalf, but it had to be done. A lot of tension in this house. So, end of December, middle end, I'm going through a lot of anxiety. Not every day, but when it happens, it gets bad. There were certain things that just prevented me from doing other things. Like, I didn't like driving to Mina's house at night because it was a longer drive and the roads were very dark and I just felt uncomfortable and I didn't want to do it. So there were times where she would, like, come to my house instead. Thank you. So around after Christmas, the few days leading up to Christmas and the day like after Christmas, like I didn't get a lot of sleep and I was just exhausted from doing so much. I had a really bad panic attack. It was like 3 in the morning and I couldn't sleep, and so I called Mina and I was like, I'm not okay. Can we just talk? And she was like, I'll come to you. She came all the way to my house to be there for me, and I'm so thankful to her for doing that. And then the next day, whenever I had like bad anxiety, like really bad panic, the next day was still kind of fucked up over for me because I was still like afraid. Of course, the next day I still had really super bad anxiety where I went to the hospital because like I just felt like I kept having chest palpitations. And my dad, Tim, and Mina were with me like the whole night, And I'm so thankful that they were. When I was at the hospital, I was there till like 2:30 in the morning. And like pretty much the whole time I was there, I still felt like I was having palpitations and like I couldn't calm down. Um, it was at that point where I was only with Mina for like a few months, of course, but I've known her for longer. Um, where I said to myself, this might be the girl that I end up marrying, because if she's here with me now while I'm going through this shitty time and she's like compliant, she's just here for me. Like, why would I let her go? So, I mean, I felt bad that I put her through it. So, like, I of course wanted to make it up to her, and I did. I tried to. Wasn't good enough, apparently. Um, and like, I've been in long relationships before, and you think maybe this is the one. I was never so sure about that though with anybody else, and it was with her. There was a 5 year age difference between us. She was 29, I'm 24, but I went into that relationship with her with the mindset of I'm done with doing breakups, and I'm so certain about her that I want my next relationship to be my last. Hoping that, it's that good of a bond that you'd be together. Let me bleed into January of 2017 just to recap a lot of my thoughts, because there was a lot that I realized after this. Bad anxiety, whatever. We ended up breaking up because on her reasoning, she couldn't handle what I was going through. I put her through a lot of stress, which was understandable. She was there for me like every second of every day when I was going through this bad anxiety. And I was there for her when everything she went through was really shitty. That's what you do in a relationship. Even before we were in a relationship, I was still there for her. She was there for me. Being that I've had a lot of time to think, I went back in my memory banks to my first relationship, my next one, this one, that one, whatever. I realize that one of the core issues of my anxiety is that, to put it like this, I'm not good enough. Like, that's what it is. Or I'm not the best. I could be better, but I can't get better. Because my first relationship, my ex fucking treated me like dirt. My next relationship, that girlfriend, I was like her 10th boyfriend, and she was only 17, so I was like, what am I to her? And then I think back to why I had all this anxiety in December. It was because subconsciously I wasn't good enough for her, which is not true. In my mind, I kept feeling like I had to be better for her because I never got the confirmation of affection from her. She would never say, I love you back. She barely said it. Just not a lot of positive reinforcement like a significant other in a relationship should give. I didn't get a lot of that. So I feel that subconsciously, because of that, it fucked me up. because there's always that in the back of my mind. There's something wrong with the situation, something wrong with me, and that's why anxiety. So that year wrapped up with a bundle of anxiety, and I feel like it's cyclical. That end of this year into that year, I'm just in a slump. And that's December. So how was 2016 for me? Honestly, it was really great. There was a lot. I mean, there's nothing I regret. There's nothing I'd take back. There's a lot that I learned. I mean, I was in shit. I was worthless, doing nothing. Couldn't stream. Got a bedroom. I got my dad's girlfriend kicked out of the house, which is awesome. I was with a wonderful person. Was someone I had a crush on for a long time. If you call a couple months a long time. Got a stream capture card. There was a lot of good things that happened in 2016. But if I'm to look back at it, you know, people that are down in their luck here, well, you gotta hit rock bottom before you start getting better again. That's how 2016 was. I was fucking nothing going for me at the beginning of the year. Then I got better. It was definitely turbulent. There was a lot of bad, a lot of good. I don't know, man. I have no regrets of 2016. I just felt the need to do this tonight for some reason, because I was out with a friend and we were talking. And then I was driving home and I was like, there's a lot on my mind. So I finally felt like doing this. I feel like this was not as eventful as 2015 in review, but then again, a lot more shit happened. And 2014 was even way less than that. I don't know. I definitely like to do these for me, because it's really cool. I get to go back and watch them. You know what? If I have the year of 20. I haven't uploaded that to YouTube because I haven't looked back at it, because I feel like I said stuff I didn't want to say, or well, not to put it like that. No, I shouldn't be embarrassed towards it, because that's what I'm feeling. I'd be embarrassed that I said that stuff, but fuck it. I don't know, man. I mean, it is good to know that I came to that realization, that at least what my anxiety stems from. And where I am now, you know, I'm starting to get better, finally. Ugh. It is very cyclical, though. Shitty. Getting better, a little down, shit, getting better, and whatever. So if you stuck around and listened, thank you for listening. That was 2016 in review. I loved, I lost. I pooped a bunch. I shit my pants. I shit my pants during 2016. That was really funny. That was the first time I shit my pants. That bad. That's about it, though. That's about it. Pokemon Go came out. Oh, that's right. There was. Wow. I did just remember that, because I was thinking before. I was like, there was my ex. There was that girl. There was that girl. But wasn't there another girl I tried to like be with? And it was a girl that worked at the ramen shop that I eat at. Oh, I worked at the ramen shop for a while, back in October. The ramen shop that I adore so much. I worked there for like a month, and I ended up quitting because the work was like too fucking easy, and it was so slow and boring. And my coworkers were a bunch of fucking kids, and they were just a pain in the ass to work with sometimes. Pokemon Go was really cool for a while. There was like a couple nights where I went out at like 1, 2 in the morning on my bike just to play. Well, I mean, it was middle of June, so it was like warm out, and it was a cool bike ride. I went down to like one of the parks by the lake and just like played Pokemon Go. Man, there's gonna be things that I'll remember and be like, wait, and then this happened. That's pretty much it, though. That one girl that I met at the ramen shop, my God, we went out and it was such a shit show. Because she knew my ex, the one I lived with in the apartment. Anyway, that's 2016. There's a lot of things I'm still bitter about because I'm a man that likes justice and justice should be served. But then again, it's never gonna be served because you know what? I'm a nice guy. I never really whatever. Pokemon Go went downhill fast. Yeah. Best memories are from the summer. That's good. That's cool. So that's that. Thank you all for listening. This, like I said, this is something to do for me. If you're curious, then you get to hear it. You can go back and watch 2014, 15, and 16. You could see how I've grown since then. God, I remember doing the 2014 video because we just finished playing The Wolf Among Us, and I was like, yo, 2014 was the best year of my life because I made the greatest decision of my life, and that was to stream and do YouTube. That makes me feel better. Right there. Why I'm doing this. Hey man, everyone goes through some turbulent times. I'm finally starting to get out of my funk, you know? I feel like I should just have like an ice cold whiskey right now. And I'm just like staring into a fireplace thinking. Oh. Expected to get a lot angrier too, but we didn't talk about the later months into 2017 because that's for the end of this next December. 2017 in review, everybody. I'm going to talk about how fucking shit my life was in the beginning of this year. I don't know. I want to say my life was... I think I was even more down this year than I was last year. But the fact that I could realize that and confirm it, maybe. It's all opinion, I guess. But I'm turning it around. Yeah. I'm really tired. I cannot wait to go to sleep. It's gonna feel so good. If I close my eyes right now, it feels so relaxing. I'm in skinny jeans right now. I'm in like a sweater. This isn't comfortable clothing. I was wearing comfortable shoes though. They're really nice. I don't know where they are. I don't have work tomorrow. That's also nice. That's why I'm doing this because it's late. I'm gonna do some thinking now. I'm gonna lay in bed, do some thinking. By that I mean probably put on a kung fu movie, watch people get beat up. So thank you everyone for being here this evening. Thank you me for putting up with me for so long. 2016 was a year. $2 because I'm poor as fuck. Penguin, I do. Actually, oh fuck, is it not? I don't know. It should. I wanted to, because I got it's awesome. The donation thing we have. Here, hold on, I'll actually like force it right now. Here's Streamlabs, good. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Oh yeah, no, yeah, it did go through. Hold on. Can I play the message? I want to play the message. Let me read it if I can't get it to play. I hope 2017 is bomb as fuck, my dude. I wish I could donate more, but I'm a poor ass college student and this is like 4 ramen meals for me. Well, Penguin, you didn't have to spend food on me, man. I cook food. I can do food myself, and I understand how other people need food. Can I like? I wanna hear it though. I'll play this song in your honor. Can I hear it? Money, motherfucker. Money on my motherfucking mind. Got 5 haircuts at the same time. White gold pants, jet ski, made a wine. Rock, bust with Albert Einstein. Get money. Money at my motherfucking mouth. The mansion, a ranch, and a camp in a town. A motherfucking store with the floor made of scouts. Body in the black, got rocks, he got outs. Get money.
This is a test donation for $1.
For $1. Thank you, Penguin MD, for that donation. Super swell of you. Thank you. Gave you 48 ramen packets last week. Have I used the raid video recently? I've been raid free. I've been pretty raid free recently, I think. I don't know. I need to make a new one. And I know exactly what I want to do. There's going to be the new raid video, bigger budget, more explosions, more pickles. Very excited. Again, thank you everyone for listening. This has been nice to recap finally, like I normally do. It's just I haven't been able to because of how I've been feeling with anxiety. But now that I'm doing better, I was honestly a little nervous, shaky to like get on here this evening and talk. I think now that I'm starting to get life back on track, the next upcoming streams and so on and so forth are just going to be better and better. I'm not working tomorrow. I'm probably going to sleep in, but I might wake up early anyway because I have been waking up early. If that is the case, I have no plans tomorrow. Nothing. We might do a morning stream, and we'll probably do an evening stream. So thank you sincerely everyone for being here today, tonight, this evening. Felt good to do this finally. I get to chronicle, put it in the Chronicles of YouTube, years in review. So, have a good day, night, evening, morning, afternoon, whatever you like to celebrate. I will see you next time. I really do appreciate it, guys. It's just, I don't like want to get off right now. I'm tired. I'm pretty tired. I do appreciate it though, guys. It's good. Love you, babe. Long ass time. Yeah. If I come back tomorrow, if I do a morning stream, I might chill and play some Ghost Recon. We gotta continue with Mass Effect 2. Andromeda's coming out soon. Yeah. Well, I'll talk about that in the future. I'm gonna go to bed. Love you all. It's been real. It's been great. It's been swell. I'm going to bed. Good night.